Hi, I'm Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today I thought it might be a great idea to learn how to make whipped cream properly. And a lot of you may be using the whipped cream in the can, where you spray it all over your beautiful pie or on your shortcake, and 2 seconds later, it's back to the way it was originally, which was liquid heavy cream. So we want to learn how to stabilize it. That's the trick to make it last long. And I think I've got it down. It's a pretty good, easy way to do it. And we're going to use gelatin, unflavored gelatin. And if you ate this right now or put this into your whipped cream, it would taste crunchy. And we don't want any grittiness. So we have to let it bloom. So this is 1/4 teaspoon of unflavored gelatin. You want to use 1/4 teaspoon for every 1 cup of heavy cream. And I'm going to take 1 tablespoon and cold water. You only want to mix cold liquids into your gelatin. And we're going to mix that in there with a little spoon. And you can see it doesn't look very impressive. It's not going to do anything, but it will soften. The other term people use is bloom. You'll see this gelatin soften and bloom. So in just a few minutes, we're going to let it go for about 5 minutes. In a few minutes, it's actually going to look almost like a jellyfish, almost solidified. And that gelatin will suck in all that water and soften. And then we have to melt it down before we can add it into our whipped cream. All right. So there's a few other ways to stabilize whipped cream, and a lot of people do these as well. Some people are advocates of adding a little sour cream or a little fermented dairy like yogurt. Sour cream is also a fermented dairy, or even creme fraiche. But a lot of times you get that sour taste in with the whipped cream, and a lot of people want just traditional whipped cream. They don't want to taste anything else. So I use this gelatin and it's perfect. It'll last. I guarantee this whipped cream will last at least 2 days without weeping or going back to its original state. So I'll see you back in a second. All right, so I've taken 1 cup of heavy cream and I've put it into a very cold electric mixing bowl. Some people store their electric mixing bowl in the freezer or the refrigerator just to keep it totally chilled. And you're going to be using the whip attachment. This is the thing that looks like a whisk. And you can also do this by hand and use a whisk. And if you really have good muscle power, you can do that. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of confectioner's sugar when the time is right, and a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And what we're going to do is we're going to be beating air into this beautiful heavy cream. And this is, again, 38 to 40% butter fat or milk fat. So the air is actually being held in there by the fat globules all around. And I'm going to cover this up so I don't add my sugar or vanilla just yet. I'm going to cover it up. I know you can't see anything. And I'm going to talk real loud. I'm going to turn it up to warp speed. And when it gets to be soft peaks, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of confectioner's sugar. You can add granulated, but I don't like the graininess, so I use confectioner's sugar and a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And I'm going to show you what this looks like at every step. So after we've done this for maybe 15 seconds, I'm going to show you. We haven't really done very much, but you can see it's getting thick. All right. So now you don't want to overmix. I'm doing this so it doesn't go everywhere. So once I have soft peaks, and I actually think I'm there, you can actually see I'm there. Can you see it? They look beautiful. All right. I'm going to add my sugar, and I'm going to add my 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And I'm going to be careful at this point because I don't want to overmix. So I'm going to go low, because I'm really almost there. And if you want to get your rubber spatula, get it and just sort of scrape down the edges to make sure that you have all the sugar distributed evenly and nobody just gets a pocket of that confectioner's sugar. All right. And yes, I'm waiting to add my gelatin until the last minute. All right. So I'm just going to go up until I've gotten soft peaks. Some people under whip their cream. I over whip it a little bit And here it is. Let me just show you what it should look like before you add your gelatin. I'm just going to show you. Pretty stiff, all right? I make it so stiff because you are going to lose a few of those air bubbles eventually. So let's make sure that it is stiff. All right, you got to put your beater back on. And now I'm going to go grab my gelatin. So I'm back with my gelatin, and what I did was, after I let it bloom and soften, I then put it into a little pot of hot water to melt it down. So it's not jellified, and I'm not putting this blob into my whipped cream. The key here is, and this is the important part, so listen up, this temperature can't be too hot. Because remember, our whipped cream is super cold. And if you put something real hot into whipped cream, I guarantee as the sun comes out every morning, that whipped cream is going to go back to its original state as a liquid. It's going to just fizzle right out. So make sure you feel your gelatin, and this feels really, really barely lukewarm. It's not even warm, and you want to make sure it's still a liquid, okay? So I'm going to put it in, and then I'm going to let her rip again, okay? And all you're doing is incorporating the gelatin. You're really not whipping it too much more. That's it. That's it. All right, so our gelatin is in. This should keep this beautiful whipped cream going for at least 2 days. So you can use this whipped cream for anything, and I'm going to use it later for some top some shortcakes. But you can see it's light and fluffy and just beautiful, just beautiful. So that's how you make whipped cream, and that's how you stabilize it. And keep it in the refrigerator, and you have it for anything you want. Chocolate cream pie, coconut cream pie, banana cream pie, I could go on and on. But whatever you do, keep it cold and use that gelatin. For more videos, go to gailsokol.com.